Pete, we're going to start with you on the top 5 animated films of all time. Go ahead and start this off.
All right. Well, my honorable mentions list is about this big. Like there's just so many great films, and so I had to sort of really just adjust this list to be about me and not necessarily about box office or
so before you start,
critical acclaim.
Give your criteria so the audience is very clear on how you picked your 5.
Sure. Thank you, Paul, for that.
Yeah.
All right.
This is my 5th podcast with you. I know the routine.
Well,
number
I'm trying
5.
to allow you some creative freedom, Pete. I'm not trying to restrict
2,
you.
3, 4,
No.
5.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Here's my 5th. It's number 5 for me is a movie that is coming out on July 15th. It's supposed to be like one of the greatest movies ever. It's called Paws of Fury: The Legend of Hank.
Find a way to plug his new film.
Starring Michael Cera, Ricky Gervais, Sam Jackson, directed by Rob Minkoff, who directed the original Lion King. And the producer of it is somebody who's really awesome and cool. And it's the best number 5 animated movie of all time. Number 4 for me was Finding
Wait, you didn't
Nemo.
even say the name, dude. You didn't even say the name.
Yeah.
Oh, it cut off then.
Yeah, I did.
Paws
of Fury, The Legend of Hank.
Okay, yeah, it must have cut off or something. I didn't hear it.
Now it's there.
Okay.
Roll it back.
Roll it back.
Number 4 for me is Finding Nemo. Finding Nemo was a little bit later on in the Pixar list of release, but it was a different way to tell an incredible story about just keep swimming and keep moving forward and keep fighting. And it was something that was very personal to me because, life is shitty, and if you just keep swimming, then you will achieve whatever it is that you want. It always hit home to me. Number 4, Finding Nemo. Number 3 for me was Aladdin. When Aladdin came out, it was, I don't know, there was something special about it. And the music was incredible. I love Robin Williams to death. As our massive audience knows already, that Robin Williams is very important to my life. And when he took on this role, it was just his voice, and he killed it. And the songs were perfect. The story was incredible. Yes, Paul.
Is it my imagination, or was Aladdin the first film that really had like an A-lister voice come in and play a role? Like I'm trying to think of all the other animation films, and I don't remember a A-lister headliner playing a voice role. And now obviously it's common now, but I feel like Robin Williams was the first guy that's like, oh shit, that's who's doing the voice. And again, like it just elevated the film, because after that, like James Earl Jones did Lion King, but in Beauty and the Beast, nobody's, right? No, I don't remember
Angela Lansbury, but Angela Lansbury didn't have the same.
No, but none of these are
same status as Robin Williams.
Like Robin Williams was at the time. I feel like Aladdin's the first film that actually recruited an A-lister to.
You might be right. It's something that now it's going to bother me tonight. I'm going to have to look it up.
So guys, comment below if you can confirm this or deny. We do not know the answer right now, but I'm going to go ahead and put the Paulie stake down and say, Aladdin is the first film that recruited an A-lister voice to do the role. And again, it became commonplace after that to get major actors. But yeah. Anyways, continue with the list, Pete.
Number 2 on my beautifully perfect list is Inside Out. Inside Out was a movie. Inside Out
number 2.
Great movie. It's great.
Oh my God.
Number 2. It's one of the more clever ways to talk about how difficult it is being a kid, and all of the little nuances that go on in somebody's head. And I think it was done brilliantly. I think the story was really great. It was impressive. I mean, when I saw it for the first time, I watched it with my daughter, and she loved it for just because it was great, but I loved it for that reason. It was a different way to talk about something that's really important, which is how a child thinks and how a child is going to move forward in their lives.
That's a
beautiful film
right there.
It's a beautiful
core
film.
memory, homie. Core memory.
Yeah, well, we'll see. I gotta hear number one now at this point.
Number one, Toy Story, for obvious reasons. It was innovative. I mean, the only other innovative animated movie before this was Snow White in the 30s.
No, I agree with that.
Only because it had never been done, and we wouldn't be where we are today with animation, not just in film, but with CGI, VFX, with video gaming. We wouldn't be
100%.
anywhere without Toy Story. It's the number one film animated of all time. Thank you. Point for Peter.
You missed one film.
Mic drop.
You missed one film, which is why you're gonna get dock points. But
Wow.
I want to see if someone else is gonna put this film on their list. But actually, you missed two of them. Two of them I can't believe.
So you know what
I
the
missed,
top 5 is of all time?
Well,
I missed a lot. That's why I said my
So you're the
list.
Yeah, I'm the
My
judge.
honorable mentions is
I'm
like
not
this
in the,
long.
yeah,
You literally started off by Pete saying, "What's your criteria, Pete?" So it's his list.
right.
Thank you,
John. I'm the one
John.
giving points away, so you gotta still
okay.
acquiesce to my opinion.
Okay.
That's how this rolls.
Minus 1 point. Minus the point for John.
Minus 1 point for John for
Yeah.
All right,
Just so you guys know,
John Bear, your list is
I have
up.
a side point system.
John
At the
Bear,
end
your
of this
list
will
is
be
up.
Paul's tally and my tally right now. So we're all up 3 points. Paul is at -1 point on my scorecard, guys.
I have no points. I don't get points.
I am the CompuBox. I am CompuBox of this competition.
John might be the first guest in history to have a negative score at the end of the,
You're the equivalent of Amber Heard on
Not by CompuBox.
minus $8 million.
John's next, huh?
Oh wow. Okay.
John Bear turn.
Awesome.
John Bear. All right,
right.
John, let's hear your list.
Okay, now can we continue?
Wow me.
Yes,
John, I want you to wow me right now.
Number 5 for me of all time is Wreck-It Ralph. I have nothing to base it on, except that I just really, really love the movie. It was fun. It was fantastic. The one line I will always remember is, just because you're a bad guy, it doesn't make you a bad guy. Just that anyone can still be who they want to believe in and change himself. But it was just a kick-ass movie. It was a fun thrill ride. Like, it took my imagination in a whole new world, especially being someone who loves video games. So nothing to base it on, except it's just been a recent, movie that I've loved in the last decade that just makes me smile.
Yeah, I don't, better than Paws of Fury. I don't know. It remains to be seen.
Yeah, we don't know. We don't know. I just love it.
It doesn't come out yet.
We'll find out.
I dig it, man. It's a good movie. Yeah. All right. Number 4 is for me is Coco. Disney decided to represent the Hispanic people, the Latin American people. So it was cool to show some heritage. And how effing awesome would that be? No matter what you believe in, what if when the lights go out that you end up in Coco Land? If that's your version of heaven and the next chapter is that'd be a kick-ass place to be, is all I'm saying. I'd party over there for life and eternity after. So that's why I did Coco a lot.
Right.
I have not seen Coco myself, but I've heard.
Man, dude, Coco's so good. It's such a good movie.
No, I've heard that. I need to watch that.
How are you moderating this podcast and you haven't seen Coco?
I'm probably the least qualified to run today's podcast, but I've seen every other.
You did mention that. Yeah.
Next Wednesday night, we'll have a viewing of Coco at our house.
Yeah.
For those that don't know, we usually force each other to watch a movie every Wednesday night. And we all get together. So next Wednesday night movie for Paulie is going to be Coco with us.
Coco was on the list.
All right, number 3. Number 3 for me is Shrek, the original Shrek.
There we go, John.
Because I'm a huge Eddie Murphy fan. Huge Eddie Murphy fan. I thought it was just an amazing role. He was hilarious the whole time as Donkey, but it's a great movie.
Yeah.
To capitalize and just make the hero of a movie just like this raunchy, truly raunchy, just unsophisticated, uncouth ogre who goes around being himself and is literally the baddest dude and whatever where does he live? Where's Ogreville live? Remind me, the
Storyland or something like that.
Yeah. He lives in the swamp.
Once,
the hardest dude there, and to revolve the movie around him, but
Mike Myers is
definitely on my list.
Yeah, hell yeah, he is. He's freaking hilarious. But the buddy aspect of this movie, you got the annoying buddy who just proves loyalty and starts a companionship, and it's Shrek and Donkey on another whirlwind adventure. It's just a badass movie.
No, it is
about two homies that are going to go after it, put fear aside. They got a common goal, and they're going to fucking cast and save the princess. Yep. So that's what's great about this movie.
Franchise.
Is this a G-rated audience? I do forget. So sorry.
No, you're good, John. Cuss away.
We good. All right, cool. Number 2 for me, this is where I started getting tough. This is where I start to get a little introverted and weird and geeky. Number 2 for me is Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
Mm-hmm.
Just look at everything that movie has done to our minds and common society.
Yeah.
Literally, Facebook has changed its name to Meta. Like the first real movie that makes us think maybe there are other dimensions out there, and make kids think like, hey, this thing could be a possibility.
It's a great film.
It's a freaking fantastic film. To me, it's I don't know any of the esoteric terminology of what the CG does in this film, but I just see the animation move so fast. I'm sure there's some crazy graphic operating systems that make this happen. To see the animation in it was just astounding to a common man like myself.
Yeah.
But to just break the audience and like the world and saying, hey, what is these multiple dimensions? What is a metaverse? And now we discuss it in everyday society. It's common knowledge, the metaverse.
And then like adding Nick Cage
groundbreaking
film. And then I forget who's the pig. Who's the pig character? Who's the pig voice?
Who plays the pig? That's gonna bother me.
I forget. It's awesome. It's a great film.
Great film. Just instantly, I fell in love with it. Believe the hype. Like I was so hyped behind the movie, and I caught on to it late, and I jumped right on the bandwagon as soon as I saw it late in the game. But awesome. We'll move to number 1 for me though. This is a weird one. I did want to say Toy Story 2, but because of what we're doing in the platform tonight, I didn't bring up Toy Story, but it is right on my side notes of being the number 1 of all time. So I went a different route. I went half animation, half CG animation on this one. My top movie of all time, because I think this movie is going to mean a lot generations down the line. And I think most of the world doesn't even realize how big of a movie this is. And it's Ready Player One. Have you guys seen Ready Player One?
Yeah, no, that's interesting.
Because I know half the movie is computer generated, the other half is not. The reason I consider this number 1 is because it's hard to make me believe right now in 2022, whatever the hell year we're in right now. It's hard to you can't change my mind saying, give us another 100 years. There's a good chance we're all stuck behind VR goggles. This is the first movie that breaks that VR.
Your premise for sure.
Your premise is interesting.
But I mean, because it's true. I mean,
it's groundbreaking. What if this society goes this route? What if 100 years from now, we are in this VR world, especially like the younger generations that come could be a lot sooner than we think. This movie went under most shadows. As far as revenue wise, this movie is supposed to make a lot more than it did originally.
So I think it's underrated. I actually really like this film, and not everybody.
The reason it's number 1 to me is
this film, but I mean,
what it represents in the future. I think the mainstream audience hasn't really truly understood what this movie might give us a glimpse into the future and what it could possibly be. That's why I rank it number 1.
But I would argue, does that mean that Who Framed Roger Rabbit is an animated movie just because it has animation?
Actually, I thought that's where he was going, Pete. You can include Who Framed Roger Rabbit for sure.
Yeah.
Again, it's
a good portion, if not more than 50% of Ready Player One. And I just watched this last week. I just watched it again because I do love
it initially, but it's a good argument.
I wouldn't consider it an animated film, even though the majority of it is animation. It's a really interesting. Really interesting. Damn.
So, I don't know if it qualifies. I said Toy Story is my number 1, so I try to parlay this as a qualifier as my sub number 1, just on what it might mean to the future.
It's your list.
There we go.
That's a good argument.
Well done.
Let's see what Lauren goes. John,
Lauren.
John, a very interesting.
Yeah, you guys brought.
She's been chomping at the bit over there.
A lot of deep thoughts into your list. Your guys' lists are very deep, and mine is going to be more like frou-frou Disney princess. The criteria for my films are just films that like make me feel good. I love musical theater. I love Disney music, Disney songs, Disney princesses. So that's what you're going to kind of see in my list. So my number 5 is Aladdin. I love that movie because I love the songs, You Ain't Never Had a Friend Like Me. Robin Williams. I felt like, you know, it was kind of like this big Broadway production and him performing, and, you know, that movie, you know, when the kids and I have dance parties in our house, like that song really gets us going. So I love that. And I love Princess Jasmine. I don't know if she was the first Disney princess that had like dark hair. I know Snow White, you know, obviously has dark hair, fair skin.
She's probably the
but
first,
just looking at Princess Jasmine.
She's the first non-white.
Yeah.
Did Princess and the Frog come out before that?
No.
No, it was after?
After.
As after, yeah. So I think I just looked at Princess Jasmine and I thought, you know, when you think about like Halloween costumes and, oh, you know, I want to be Cinderella or I want to be, you know, Sleeping Beauty. It's like, you know, those types of characters were very limited for me. I mean, sure, I could have been Cinderella if I wanted to, right? But Cinderella with dark brown hair and black eyes, you know, that didn't really work. So Aladdin's my number 5. My number 4 is Little Mermaid. That movie just makes me super happy whenever I watch it. It's one of Mackenzie's favorite films. Part of Your World. She just loves that song. She makes John sing it to her every single night.
Won't you? My collection's complete.
Yes.
That's a good song.
You know, I think it's, you know, it's a song that, you know, as a little girl, you sing it in the pool and you know, dunk underwater and you come back out and you're just like.
What do you mean a little girl? I was a little boy doing that.
I think we all sing that song.
I had a long hair phase and I did it. I
right,
totally
so we
did
can all relate. We can all relate to those moments. But
I popped up onto that rock. You know what I mean?
That's right.
My hair,
This
with your chest.
my big boobs.
Yes, with your seashells. And you know,
Ariel.
it had you know, some other
Yes,
really
because.
fun songs. Under the Sea, that's, you know, that's in our dance party mix too. So I think it was just a really fun movie that kind of stands the test of time, and it's definitely, again, one of those ones that me and my kids can fall asleep to, you know, listening to that in the background.
For sure.
My number 3 is Coco. And again, just like for the reasons that John said, it was just this beautiful film that celebrated Hispanic culture. And it was a film that you could kind of take your kids to and kind of explain, like, you know, this is a tradition that we as families celebrate. And, you know, we remember our loved ones. And I think the music in it is very beautiful. The chords of the guitar, and, you know, you're hearing, you know, Spanish lyrics, and it made my heart so happy. I love the costumes in that. When I was a young girl, I grew up dancing ballet folklorico. So seeing those costumes on, you know, on screen, I could really relate to those. I just thought the colors were vibrant and beautiful. And then the end of the film, you know, although it's very sad, you know, I was.
Don't spoil it. I haven't seen it yet, so don't spoil it.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. Well, I will have a box of tissues on reserve for you at this
The
house.
ending is so happy and upbeat. You should just go into it thinking that.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's my number 3. One of my favorites. Number 2, Beauty and the Beast. Again, one of those just really fun Disney songs, you know, the opening scene where Belle's going through the town, and, you know, you kind of get.
Honestly, that's
like,
the first film that combined CGI and traditional celluloid animation, correct, Pete? Is that right?
That's the first I'm hearing of that. I don't remember hearing that at all.
Was Beauty and the Beast before Aladdin? Beauty and the Beast before Aladdin, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So I think this is the first animation film. So like Little Mermaid's all celluloid.
I'm gonna whiteboard that. We can look it up later.
Yeah. No, I'm actually pretty. I stand by what I'm saying. And then Beauty and the Beast was the first one that combined some CGI elements to the traditional animation. And then Aladdin did the same with the, you know, Whole New World sequence.
Yes.
You guys can check me on it, but my middle name is Google, so go ahead.
I'm gonna check you on. I'm gonna whiteboard that one. Paul's middle name is not Google.
So Beauty and the Beast again. I love a big theatrical Broadway production type song. So Be Our Guest, you know.
Yeah,
you can reenact that. You can do all that. it's a musical that's gone on, to the stage, and they do it in high schools and colleges. So I think it's not only a really good film, but it also translated to a really amazing and successful stage production for Disney.
For sure.
And my number
And a
one
live action film as well.
Yes. Oh, yes. Which Paul has deep thoughts on that too, but we'll get into that later.
We're not gonna get into that tonight.
We're not getting into that tonight.
No.
And my number one is Toy Story.
Toy Story.
Toy Story. Love everything about it. Love all the characters. Love. You guys making fun of me?
No.
Never.
You're my boss
Again,
at Cheesecake Factory. I'm not gonna piss you off.
That's right. I'll cut your station.
Yeah.
But Toy Story, even today, before the podcast, John and I kind of had it on in the background, and was just kind of watching it, and I was like, oh babe, like, did you see that, or did you notice that? I just think that there's something to find every single time we watch it. Again, I love all the nostalgic references. I love the message of the bromance between Woody and Buzz that carries, all the way up into the fourth and final movie. So I just think it's a really good film.
Yeah.
No, absolutely. It's absolutely great.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's a very good list. I'm gonna give you my top 5, and
let's hear it.
With all due respect, my list is the best. But
Uncle P's top 5 animated films of all time.
The number 5, guys, and nobody put this on the list, which just appalls me. But Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, like we mentioned earlier, this is the original great animation film.
I understand why you would do that, but there's so many amazing films that are better than Snow White. No offense to Snow White.
I had the dopey stuffed animal, and he was literally my best friend for a good solid 2 years.
Yeah, because you're dopey.
He lived with 7 dudes.
I was like, how can I live with 7 guys?
Let's not put that on your dating app.
My stuffed animal was super cool guy.
Yeah, my favorite stuffed animal was Dopey for sure. But anyways, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs is, again, like, if I combine the ride, I combine the movie, I combine the songs, like again, it's the classic. To me, it's the originator. It's the original great animation film, and so that's why it's number 5 on my list. I agree. Probably, yes, there's better films, but to me, you got to throw in a classic in there. And so
Snow White, Paws of Fury. I mean,
yeah, exactly.
I don't know.
Yeah,
it's tough.
We'll see. We'll see first week. It
remains to be seen.
Number 4, Toy Story. Obviously, that's on everybody's list for all the reasons you guys have said. It's historical. It's great. But I will say this: Toy Story is not my favorite film to watch. So that's why it's number 4. Number 3, Shrek. John Bear already mentioned why Shrek is great. Shrek to me is again, I love Mike Myers, and I love what Shrek did. Again, buddy comedy, and then it was so clever with the writing and all that good stuff. So Shrek is my number 3. Number 2, which is probably the animation film I've seen the most, is Aladdin, and I love Aladdin. And Prince Ali,
it's a good movie.
Mighty as He, Ali Ababwa. I mean,
Ali Ababwa.
It's great. I love the music. Again, Robin Williams, like we said, Aladdin, I absolutely love. And my number 1, guys, nobody had this on their list, and I don't know what kind of childhood you had, and maybe you guys were abused as children, but it's American Tail. Because
somewhere out
there.
Oh my gosh, you love Somewhere Out There.
Somewhere Out There is the greatest song of all time, and we have another list coming up soon. But Somewhere Out There is the greatest song.
That was a hell of a song, man.
And there's no animation film that ever made me feel so sad, and like that movie messed with my emotions. Maybe I was 5 years old. So
you can't argue with that. That movie really kind of messed me up. I don't
think I've ever cried in an animation film more than
it was the end of childhood and the beginning of adulthood.
Yeah,
that movie it kind of changed your perspective.
So that's why American Tail is number 1 for me, is because, again, there's no film that made me feel the feels than American Tail, and that's why that's my number 1.
Yeah.
So guys, if I was in this competition, I would win the list, but because I'm not. I'm going to go ahead and give Lauren the victory here, only because I thought she had the most consistent list. Everybody else went a little bit of, a couple choices were a little out there, John, I actually liked your list the most and actually loved your argument for number one. And you almost had it. You almost had the victory.
Oof.
But Lauren just, she batted 323.
Outrageous.
Consistent.
Very, very consistent list. She didn't go too crazy outside the list. And every single one of her film, I think, at least deserves to be on the list.